move my camera here. What is up? How we doing? It is Diablo 4 Season 7 video came out today or yesterday, and I meant to make a video on it, but I had a couple of work meetings. And so I want to get into it today. I want to watch this video, react to it. There is a campfire chat today, which I will not watch because they're way too long. But I will probably watch back later or get a summary, go through the patch notes when they release, etc. But for those of you guys who don't know, I've played every single season of Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is one of my favorite games. Obviously, guys, there's the big issues with Diablo 4, right? Is when you play PoE 2 versus when you play Diablo 4, there is no end game. It's not even remotely close. Okay, so hang on one second. So that's really the big thing, right? Is there's just not really an end game. There's not anything that really matters once you get past a certain level. I've played every season. I've leveled pretty much every character minus druids every season. I've played druids maybe 3 of the 7 seasons where I've leveled them up. 4 out of the 7 seasons leveled them up. But every other class I level every single time. I love all of them. I'm particularly a fan of Rogue, Sork, and Spiritborn. Last season, Spiritborn was really good. So what I want to do is I want to just react to this video and see if Blizzard is finally figuring stuff out or if we are in for another bad time.
Witchcraft, the tree is missing some of its heads, which, spoilers, is actually a big deal.
Someone has stolen heads from the Tree of Whispers, and it is the Wanderer's role to discover the mystery behind who is taking the heads and to what end.
As you progress through the storyline, you work with the Coven, and in exchange for your help, they will give you their own powers. And then you can utilize these powers in Season of Witchcraft.
If you're not familiar, the Tree of
Okay,
Whispers
so we got
is ancient.
So from what I viewed and from what I looked at on the PTR, this is basically going to be Season 2 revamped, which if you didn't play Season 2, it was by far the best season. It was the only season that actually gave us significant information.
Tree with heads, you can come and ask for favors from the tree itself, but it will ask for something in return.
Notoriously, no one has been able to get out of their deal with the Tree of Whispers until now.
Who is it that's been freeing these heads from the Tree of Whispers? And what are the fugitive heads themselves trying to accomplish now that they're free from the tree?
And these stolen heads are scattered all around Sanctuary, causing chaos and spreading strange rot, taking over the bodies of the living. Head rotten are what happens when a head from the Tree of Whispers attempts to graft itself
That does look
onto
dope.
an already living creature to reclaim that life. They retain some of the tree's power. Brambles and roots grow along the inside of these creatures, bursting out and causing them to essentially have a head detach. And they don't mind sacrificing their living victims in their pursuit to live again.
During the course of the Season of Witchcraft, you're going to work with different witches to help solve the mystery of the missing heads.
The Witches of Hawazar are a coven of witches and chose to serve the Tree of Whispers in exchange for its power.
Great.
At this point, hatred is spreading all throughout Sanctuary, and for the first time, it's managed to launch an attack at the Tree of Whispers, and though the tree is still standing, it's definitely worse for wear. And the witches that are bound to the tree have to set things right. Investigate, hunt down these heads, and through gathering strength in their witch powers to deal with the encroaching threat, they will be able to uncover what the mystery is.
In exchange for your help, the witches are offering you their witch powers. And this season, you're going to be able to tap into 3 major categories of witchcraft power.
Una has eldritch powers, which are tied to the cycle of life and death.
Eldritch powers are the witch's form of dealing damage directly to enemies in the form of fire damage, burning damage, shadow damage.
Fire,
Helena
burning,
has
shadow.
power over psyche, which is illusion and seeing the unseen.
Powers of the mind, will, and soul. And they're the ones that protect you in battle. Growth and decay powers are powers of the swamp.
Caden deals with the body, disease and poultices,
So-
familiars.
They're the ones that
So I'm planning on playing Poison Spiritborn. For those of you guys who don't know, pretty much every season I enjoy figuring out different dot builds. And so I'm definitely planning on playing a poison spirit born. Uh, just absolutely just spewing poison on everything. So obviously things like, poison damage, any extra dots, any extra poisons with the way that the Spiritborn works is going to be really good. Okay, so at least from what I'm seeing here, so growth and decay is definitely going to be the one that I'm focused on here.
Decay your enemies and heal you in battle.
So you might be going for a fire sorceress, for example, and decide that you want to have ancient mystical frogs helping you in some way. These are going to be things that you're going to play with to get new levels of power and unique builds that really are special to just this season.
Every class can use every power for every build.
There is also lost witchcraft power that can be found while you're adventuring.
This is a special witchcraft power that exists outside the purview of traditional witchcraft powers. So as players progress through the storyline and they complete Whispers, they will earn a seasonal currency. This seasonal currency is used to, one, purchase witch powers, and also upgrade your witchcraft powers. An example
Hang on. Let's go back to this. So it looks like you can obviously have more than one, right? It obviously looks like you can have more than one. I'll be curious if you can only have one per tree or like one per
powers. An example of an Eldritch power would be a new
one of the
power,
three that they just
Doom
explained.
Orb, an ominous orb of pure Eldritch energy that circles you and burns enemies with fire damage. Doom Orb gets stronger as you slay enemies and will eventually explode. Doom Orb will also launch itself at enemies if no enemies are near you.
Okay.
So we do have some returning fan favorites coming back in Season of Witchcraft.
Piranha
Players
Nato.
who are fans of our franchise will remember some of these powers are from Diablo 3, specifically the Witch Doctor. Fire Bats is returning from Diablo 3. Those who have
Is
played
that a
the Witch Doctor
shittier version of
also
Fire
remember the
Bats?
Hex skill, the Toad of Hugeness. However, it's been reimagined for Diablo 4 and Season of Witchcraft. This is the Poison Frog Servant.
I just think it's adorable, and I want to have a murderous pet frog follow me through Sanctuary.
Of all the witchcraft powers,
Okay,
something tells me that
so obviously if you can pick more than one, having a frog that's going to follow you around and also add different poison stacks, obviously beneficial there, right? So again, what we need to find out is can I stack dots, right? Like, can I put the dot poison with the ability poison, with the ultimate poison, with the gloom and doom poison, with the frog poison, right? Can I pile all those on and do some type of massive, just everything's just melting, right? That would be obviously the ideal gameplay.
Players are probably going to be the most excited about Piranha Nato. It's effectively a whirlwind of water and chomping piranhas that will just shred your enemies to pieces. And yes, it does pull enemies towards it.
Okay, that's cool.
So players will be unlocking and upgrading their various witchcraft powers through performing headhunts. You're going to see that there's an area in the world where the Tree of Whispers...
Okay, hang on. So this is straight out of Season 2. Okay. Now, here's the problem, guys, is this is going to be amazing for leveling. Leveling in Season 2 was the most fun. Like, I leveled, I think, like 7 or 8 characters in Season 2 just because I was having so much fun and there wasn't an armory. I know, spoiler alert, there is an armory in this, which will make a massive difference, but this looks identical to Season 2. And again, that means the leveling experience is going to be dope, right? So if you're playing Diablo 4 for endgame so far, I see absolutely nothing, absolutely zero so far. But from a leveling experience, this is so much fun to do this. So just FYI, if you guys enjoy leveling like I do and like watching that character progression and being able to mess around with new cool stuff, this is going to be for you.
You're going to see that there's an area in the world where the Tree of Whispers has detected fugitive heads. The head rotten are there. You need to go hunt them down. When they interact with other monsters in the world of Sanctuary, best case scenario, they horrifically corrupt that monster to become a new headless form of itself. Worst case, they actually affix themselves to a monster and become a new boss-like entity that has this ancient rotting head on top of this now puppeteered body.
There is a horror in them, a sort of Frankenstein-esque monster. So they have more humanoid traits, but even stronger powers.
Like flaming swords they're going to be throwing at you, or They might be using poison axes that are hurled your way, or even shadow spears that tear up the ground. So these are going to be
So
some
it's
new
a blood
encounters that
maiden.
you've never seen before. As you perform various whispers in the area,
It's a
hopefully
souped up blood
briars
maiden.
out in the world. These are going to indicate that there's a head rotten there. If you manage to successfully take down one of the head rotten and claim a fugitive head, this can be returned to the witches at the Tree of Whispers, and you're going to get special seasonal Soctables as a reward.
Hang on, what did that say?
On top of that, and you're going to get
While you have 3 or more growth and decay witch powers slotted. Okay, so you can have multiple growth and decay witch powers. Okay, you gain 8% primary spat, 10% maximum life, and are always unhindered. Okay, so you do deck stacking. You gain max life, which is just whatever, and then you're always on. That's pretty strong. And the jewelry gives you 160 armor and 8% all res as a jewel. That's strong.
special seasonal Soctables as a reward. On top of that, there will be some new whispers out there. You might have a chance to help a bewitched frog, or there might be a lost wisp that needs to find its way home.
It's exactly season 2.
You're going to get reputation with the witches, as well as seasonal currency that you can use to unlock and upgrade your witch powers.
It's exactly season 2.
So we've seen a lot of great feedback from our players on what are the various features that they most want to see in Diablo 4 to make our game even better. One that's come up quite a few times is an armory. When you save a build in the armory, it's going to take a snapshot of everything currently on your character. Skill tree, paragon boards, your glyphs on those boards, and all of your gear. Players will be able to access the armory UI from any major city. You're going to be able to pursue multiple different builds on one class at the same time.
Nice.
This can be pretty cool when leveling up, but it's especially fun once you get into the end game.
You can have your boss killer
cool item that,
and your
this is really strong,
speed runner.
for the build I'm running right now. Oh, but you can still use it. You can still save out separate sets and try to pursue getting really powerful setups of very different versions of your class at the same time. I am excited of what it could feel like to constantly be swapping between these different builds and seeing which one is the most powerful.
I'm excited for people to just immerse themselves in the season.
Me personally, I'm very likely going to be running a companion druid build with the grow power to have a giant werewolf army. Hell yes.
We have a quest line that is different and emotionally gut-wrenching.
New witch powers, fugitive heads, new whispers.
Really interesting bosses that have unique attack patterns.
Uniques, legendaries, and new runes for Vessel of Hatred players.
There's a lot to try out here, some builds that have never been present before. I'm excited to see what players do with it.
Okay, so the season begins on Tuesday. 0 endgame? 0 endgame. So level up cooler, have all these powers so that you can one-shot Duriel 40 times, get to pit 100 and farm your masterworking stuff, and then you're done. That's basically the whole game. So there is 0 endgame added. At least, again, now there's supposed to be a campfire chat today. I could be wrong at the time of recording this. I could be, just being a Debbie Downer. Am I going to play the season? Yes. Yes, I will definitely play a Spiritborn. I will definitely play the season. But that is literally just a reskinned season 2 with 0 endgame. So here's the problem, guys. Why did it take this long? And what are they doing? Like, what is Blizzard doing? Like, this is not the only thing I can think of, because again, you got to remember Blizzard is with Microsoft, Activision, right? Which is a publicly traded company, which means quarter over quarter, they have to show improvement. So is this a filler season? So that way, because if you look at 8 weeks, we'll still be it'll be almost the end of quarter 1. So they're going to need to bump quarter 1 sales, right? Which means the next season will come out likely right before the end of Q1 so that they can boost numbers from battle passes, money spent, cosmetics, things like that, right? I'm a business owner. Okay. I work with companies. I've dealt with public companies. This is the way that they work. Okay. You have to show profitable growth quarter over quarter for stockholders. That is what you have to do. There's not an option. You are required, okay, to do this. So what this tells me is one of two things. A, season 8 is going to be a absolute game-changing monster, or Blizzard doesn't care at all. At all. Not one bit, because this is reskinned season 2. It's taken them an extraordinary amount of time to get out, and it's their first real season after the expansion has launched, right? So the expansion launched. Now, granted, we get the Armory. Armory should have been in the game day one. Armory was in Diablo 3. They had the tech. It's not hard. It should have been in the game day one. All the stuff that they're adding looks really cool for leveling. I will definitely play this on release. I will be streaming this on release. But once you get to 100, what are you doing? What's like? You're going to do nothing differently in season 7 than you did in every other season, because there is 0 endgame added, at least according to this trailer. Now, again, Campfire chat, they could be holding back, but again, if this is your main teaser for the season, you would tease some type of endgame if you had it, right? Like if you said new endgame or new this or new that coming, that would be what you would do. So my only thought would be this, is maybe they saw Path of Exile 2's endgame and they said, oh, we can do something like this, but it's going to take us 5 months, right? To get it in, get it polished, get it ready to go, add our own special Blizzard twist to it. That's the only thing I can see here. I don't see any other way that this works. So they have to be doing a absolute monster for season 8, or I'll tell you what, they're done. They're done, because their playership and their viewership, their trust in their brand has just gone down and down and down. I'm a diehard, World of Warcraft was my favorite game forever. If you guys are watching the channel, my YouTube channel, you'll know that, before I took a break to be in real life. And this doesn't do it for me. This is not it. This is not the answer. This is nowhere near the answer. This addresses none of the issues minus Armory. Okay. And if every season is just going to be a quality of life thing that they should have had in the game because they released it in beta and they should have polished it like this, I'm going to be really disappointed. Right. If season 8. So here's the thing, guys, is I'll play this until the PoE 2 reset in early access. Like, I'll play this until the economy reset, till there's a new, season or league or whatever, where they introduce probably introducing more classes, a bunch more items, more end game options, more league options. I'll as soon as that releases, I'm not playing Diablo 4 again, because it's not going to make me want to. There's nothing here that says this won't be a 2-week season. And that's coming from somebody who doesn't have the availability to play a ton, but because I have so much experience in this game, it's not complicated to